Hello friends, today we are going to talk about food and mental health. Food and mental health. The brain is made up of number of nerve cells, and these nerve cells communicate with other nerve cells. The nerve cell, like this is a nucleus, these will be the dendrites, and this is the axon, and it goes into the terminals again. And these connect with next neuron on their dendrites, and here they form a synapse. Now, the reason we are going to talk about the nerve cell and the food, basically we want to say that nerve cell is made up of nucleus, cytoplasm, and their mitochondria and other bodies, vacuoles, and the main part in this is the cell membrane. The cell membrane is very large, and this cell wall is made up of basically number of phospholipids. It's a bilayer of phospholipids. This is one layer of cell membrane. Now, if this whole area is covered in cell membrane, and this whole area is made up of fat, and basically the fat is made up of lipids, mainly omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids, cholesterol. This almost forms 50% of the cell membrane. And if you look at the total weight of the brain, so let's say dry weight of the brain, almost 60% is fat. This membrane is very protective. Once it is formed into the axon, because nerve cells have a special power to generate electricity or conduct the electricity from one cell to the next cell, they are highly specialized. Now this current is flowing, or this electric impulse is flowing, or this signal is flowing from the cell body through the axon to the terminals, axon terminals. This has to be protected when it is flowing through the axon, and therefore there is extra sheet of lipid which is produced by oligodendrocytes. Oligodendrocyte. These are the cells which will produce the myelin sheath around the axon, and that axon will be able to conduct the impulse much quicker if the sheath is intact and of right material. Now normally this sheath is called myelin sheath. Again, this is made up of fatty acids. Because there is so much fat around the axons, and these fatty acids, when they are circling around, they actually form quite a number of layers to protect, and there are certain nodes of Ranvier which are helping to flow the impulse quicker. And what happens, so this is the cell wall, and it is very protective. It will not allow anything to go inside unless that neuron wants what has to go in. Let's say this neuron needs glucose to go in to get the energy. So this will have a special gate for which will open and close when the cell wants, and only then the glucose molecule will go inside. Let's say this molecule needs sodium to go in because it wants to maintain its electrical conductivity inside, pH inside the cell. Let's say this wants to get in the calcium. So this will monitor each and everything, even to the extent how much water can go. So for water, for calcium, for sodium, for glucose, in fact everything. And there are certain bigger molecules. Let's say now this neuron, let's say this is producing, this is specialized, this has got DNA, and this DNA, for this one, this is switched on to produce, let's say, dopamine. Now this dopamine requires number of raw materials. For dopamine to produce by the nerve cell and then transmit it down to the nerve endings, it needs tyrosine or phenylalanine. These are the amino acids, raw materials, which are required by the cell to produce dopamine. And on top of that, it needs a number of other things. Obviously it needs some enzymes, but those enzymes can be manufactured by the cell, by the DNA that will initiate the process to produce those. And in the process, this will probably need folic acid. There will be a receptor here, there will be a gate here, which will allow the folic acid molecule to enter into the brain, into the neuron, and then help it. So, and there will be a number of other vitamins which will be required to enter the brain to properly function its mitochondria, to properly function its DNA, RNA, and Golgi apparatus to produce this. So, because it needs all these vitamins and minerals as they will be required in other parts or other cells, but in nerve cells they play a special role, because if there is any defect in these, they are going to affect this transmission to the next neuron, and obviously that's going to affect on the functioning of the brain, thus causing the mental disorder. So today we are going to talk about some of those vitamins and minerals and see how we can take the best use of these and how they are functioning in the brain. So I will be talking about some vitamins which will be focused mainly on the disorders for the mental health. In my next video, I will start talking about the vitamins required for the proper functioning of the brain. Thank you for listening. If you like my video, please don't forget to click on the like button. Thank you.